welcome to James Cross and Simon Gregory from Meanwhile Agency, to Hannah Brotherton from the online gaming and bingo brand Tombola, and then a man who possibly needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway, Bez from the Happy Mondays. Big round of applause, please.
Hello, this is daunting. Not quite the sellout I'd expected. Thank you for coming. I'm James, I'm the CCO at a creative agency called Meanwhile. This is our CSO Simon, and then also on the sofa Hannah, who's from Tombola, formerly of Asda and Neom and a company called Ding, I think that's right. And then Bez from Salford as well. So we're here to talk. This is actually, we launched a podcast yesterday, and we're hoping to get into double figures on the viewing numbers for it. But this is a live version of that podcast, and it's all about ambition. And I'm just going to look at my first question. So ambition being an important thing. So it's an ambitious podcast because it's presented mainly by myself and Bez. It's also shorter than other marketing podcasts. I'm talking about one in particular, but rather than 2 hours of wanging on and navel-gazing, this is a bit more chatty and won't take too much of your time because we like to keep it to 20 minutes. So first question, not really about ambition, but Bez. Bez obviously stole the show last year at Madfest. And do you think sort of doing a live podcast is a suitably ambitious way to follow it up?
Well, certainly working with the Meanwhile boys, it's definitely ambitious. You never know whether you're going to make it through to the end in one piece. But yeah, well, the great thing about doing this podcast for me is listening to everybody's stories, you know what I mean, and their journey from how they first got started, doing whatever training, the whole journey to where, for instance, where Hannah is now. Yeah. Honestly, it's been such a, well, for me,
interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's been interesting, but also inspiring. Yeah. And I think if anybody ever watching these podcasts, if you don't feel inspired after watching and hearing everybody's story and the journey and how they got to where they are today, and some of it's just purely by chance, being in the right place at the right time.
As you were.
As I was, yeah. And so it just goes to show, if you're not in the game, you ain't playing. So the first thing you've got to do, as any marketing director will know, you've got to get yourself in the game. Absolutely. And then see where it takes you from there. Right,
that's the first note you should all take.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, I'm the same as you, I love hearing the stories behind it, but often stories have got silver threads or themes that come up, and one really for Hannah, it's kind of, obviously this is the peak of your ambitious journey now, live on Madfest, but do you think there's a theme or a thread behind your ambitions to where you've got to now personally and professionally?
Yeah, I think I've always been a bit of a yes person, so I've kind of always said yes before I'm ready, even if it's not in my remit. I've kind of always had that focus of just say yes and we'll work it out in the end. So like we were saying about this, didn't look at any of this until yesterday, and I was like, but it will be fine because I've said yes to it. So yeah, just going for it, I think. You can always work it out and change it afterwards. So I think, I've been really lucky. I've had loads of opportunities from kind of amazing managers, agencies that I've worked with. But I'd say, underlying in that is just go for it. Get in the game.
Yeah, in the game.
Get in the game,
Have you ever regretted saying yes, though?
This. Just this.
Bez, how do you feel about... So your ambition, sort of doing new stuff beyond music. So if you think about the other bits you do, how eager are you to do, pursue things like your beekeeping or podcasts with creative agencies or like Gogglebox? How important is that to you?
Well, I'm a lot like Hannah. I have problems saying no, and I just say yeah. And I'm always of the opinion that never look a gift horse in the mouth, and worry about the other stuff later, and just say yeah for now, and then work it out as you go along. You know what I mean? And I've always been a great believer in just saying yeah. Yeah. I've been practicing saying no, but I'm not very good at it.
You never say no to us.
Yeah. I might be in less trouble now than I might not even be here if I could say no. Imagine that.
Your agent says yes. Just so you know.
And I guess what I was thinking, like, it's quite a funny matchup. You know, obviously different worlds and different kind of stories and backgrounds behind it. But the thing that strikes me is, like, both of what you do eventually leads to something creative. And whether that's, you know, kind of a campaign to try and change behaviour, or whether it's a piece of music. But maybe I'm wrong, but in my head, I imagine both of you want a bit of money at the end of it, whether that's from customers or for yourself. When you're making stuff, do you think about, you know, if I do it this way, I've got a better chance of people buying it, or actually I'm going to make something amazing and hopefully people will just come? Do you know what I mean? Which way around do you go?
Go on, Annie, I'll let you.
So from my side, you have to start with the customer. Like, ultimately, if you aren't meeting a certain need, you could make the best ad campaign in the world, it's still going to flop if you kind of you're not, you know, meeting a need that is otherwise unmet. So I think it definitely has to start there, but I think the way that it gets executed is where you can go into just making something really great. Like, you can take, if the product is there and it's meeting the need of a consumer or a player, you can take more gambles once you're really clear on that and how you push it out to players afterwards. So the creativity for me probably comes after, like the thinking is the bit that comes first. How do I get from A to B, and then hand over to you guys basically for us to do the creative thinking for us.
And Bez, did you ever think, like, when you make music, go, actually, what do the fans want? Or is it more kind of, what do we want to make and what feels good, and hopefully the people will come?
Well, luckily for me, I don't have to actually make any music. I just dance, which is kind of lucky, so I don't ever feel that sort of pressure. But I do wonder whether how long I'll be fit enough to be able to do this job for, you know what I mean? And I've got, like, I think I've got 4 years left to my retirement, maybe 5, because they put the retirement age up. So, I've got other, like, major concerns on that, you know, whether I'm going to make it to the end or not, you know what I mean? Will my body hold out another 5 years? Will my mind stay strong enough to be able to cope for another 5 years? And just little things like that. But mostly it's, I survive by, like, getting involved in amazing projects like this, working with the Meanwhile agency. And I've been with you boys from the very beginning. And I feel like, I almost feel like a part of the team now, you know. I've been involved for that.
You're all around a lot, I'd say.
So I'm fortunate for me, it's because I am a Happy Monday. It gives me lots of opportunities to do other things as well, what I would never have dreamt or imagined myself even doing. And this being one of them, do
you go looking for it? Do you find does it find you, generally speaking?
Well, I'm a great believer, because as soon as I start making any sort of plans, I can guarantee you, see you later. Forget about that plan, that's just gone to pot. So I think the best ways to do things is, you know, being involved. And I do this thing, it's called dancing on the edge. And so you're basically, you know, creating that reality as you're going along. So you're working with what you got. And so since I start working within a world what's part of my imagination, it's not even actually a reality. Forget about it, you know what I mean? So for me, it's the best way to go through my life. It's sort of, it sounds a bit chaotic, but without a plan. And just sort of dance with on the edge and never say no. I always say yes.
Was that the case
everything.
With the Mondays then? Was there any, like, ambition to do anything other than just have fun with your mates? Or
full enough for me, becoming a Happy Monday was another case of being in the right place at the right time and being unable to say no. So I don't know.
So this is a story that
I've told this story many times. So the Happy Mondays, as a young band, they're supporting New Order at Factory at the old Hacienda. And it was a big night, because it was the Tube, or one of them programmes you used to get on back in them days when you had good television and promoting musical, like program, like it used to be good in the old days,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's where is it
We
now?
had the tube and the word and things like that, you know what I mean? As the program.
Yeah.
So we was going on to this show, and that day we had scored some mind-altering drugs for some reason, and decided foolishly to do it before the gig. So like Sean was just about to go on stage, and like Sean says, goes like, Bez, you're going to have to come on stage with me, you know. He'd gone, he needed, you know, a bit of moral support.
Yeah.
And obviously I turned around and said, basically told us to fuck off, I'm not going on stage with you, you're mad. And he turned around and called me a soft cunt. And obviously, I'm sorry using this sort of language, I know it's not very business-like, and I often get told never to swear on these occasions.
That was our ambition, by the way, to make you swear.
I feel like the story needs selling correctly.
Yeah.
So obviously, no one can talk off. I was like, I don't know. So I jumped up, and on the way up, I seen these maracas, grabbed them,
Divine.
and I jumped on stage and I danced and shook these maracas like you've never known any man to dance in shape before. And next thing, I'm an Happy Monday, you know what I mean? And I've not been off stage since, so...
And so Hannah did...
So, in a way, it goes to show, it always pays to say, and worry about the rest later.
Hannah, when you got the job at Tombola, was it pretty much the same situation?
Yeah.
So Hannah, sort of moving on, so ambition, like it's not all about success like some podcasters have you believe. What's the most ambitious thing you've done that has perhaps failed?
Well, I did the Great North Run in September, which did not go to plan, so I count that as my failure.
Right.
Didn't win, and I haven't ran since. So that kind of sums up how it went for me. So I think, on a personal level, trained really hard and just absolutely bombed it. But there we go, we move. And then kind of in a professional perspective, so we, in a previous role, launched a campaign over in the US, spent loads of money on it. Everything went really well from a kind of creative and an awareness and consideration point of view, but essentially we went live too soon.
Yeah.
So we went live before the product could really compete with what was going on in the market. So we saw kind of huge increase in people knowing who the brand were, huge increase in people considering using the brand, but we just couldn't compete. And essentially what happened is we spent a lot of money and it didn't really go the way it needed to.
And was that just blind faith at the time?
I think, was it blind faith? How do I answer that politically? A little bit of both, right? Like, we probably didn't line everything up to make sure we could go when we needed to. I think it was lack of research as well, and a little bit of over-ambition that we could compete in a market that we didn't understand well enough at that point. But I think that's been really foundational in how I've thought about things moving forwards. Like, you can't have a good campaign without a good product, and it's all got to be cemented in what you're selling. Like I was saying earlier, if that's not there, then you're cooked, basically.
That's why we got Simon in.
Thank you. I was going to say, but do you think that's a downside to always saying yes? You can be over-ambitious and...
No, because I think if you don't say yes and you don't get the learnings, then you can't drive anything forwards. Like, it's always a good thing to fail in some way because you won't do it again. And like, we were in a position where we could fail as well. Like, it wasn't complete I can't even say that word, idiocy, being idiots. So we were afforded the ability to be able to fail, but you can't do that and then not learn from it, I guess, is the main thing.
It's one for you, Bez, and similar. I'm not calling it a failure, but as many of us know, you dabbled in politics as well, and I've heard you talk about it before about maybe being an overstretch, and I'd love to know that. How do you reflect on that?
Well, politically, I can tell you I failed spectacularly. But first of all, I got involved in politics as a way of protest. So I got involved because of the fracking issue, what was happening down at Barton Moss in just 3 miles out the city centre. And one day I got a phone call asking me would I go down and support because they've been struggling trying to raise awareness on the whole fracking issue and the possibility of what it could mean to us as a group of people in the country. So at the time I knew nothing about it, so I went down and I got involved due because of the fracking, and I didn't know it at the time, but I said I couldn't believe it when I got there, because the whole, the press of the world, like the ITV, the BBC, Russian news, you name it, every bit of media was there, and I thought, oh my God, and they was asking me about it, and then somebody came into my head, I want to set up a political party, and I just said it out of the blue. I didn't even know what I was going to do a political party, so that moment, and it just fell out of my mouth, so I thought, all of a sudden I realised, oh no, I've just told everyone I'm making a political party, on national television, all the news, and I thought, oh no, what am I going to do now, you know what I mean, because I don't know if anyone's ever tried setting up a political party, but it's not as easy as it sounds, I tell you. So anyway, next minute I've got somebody phoned up from the Liberal Democratic Party, believe it or not, and he offered to help me set up a political party. So next thing I know, I'm involved in politics. Yeah. And they decided to call the party the Reality Party, because I was going to change everyone's reality. But that never happened, unfortunately. But what we did do, and do very successfully, is as a protest group, we got the fact that we was going to get fracks, what fracking is, and for that we was a major success, and we was probably one of the only protest groups who've actually ever won their battle, you know what I mean? Because you never win against these big multinational companies, big massive corporations. Yeah, they think they're just going to swallow up. They got the money to do whatever they want, basically. And as a little man, you don't stand a chance against these corporations. But somehow we won it. Yeah. We stopped the fracking, which was like unheard of at the time. But politically, rubbish. And nobody got me politics, because like what's going on now with the Epstein files, and you see what's going on, and everything I was saying then, you know what I mean? So what I was doing, I was ending the banking system, getting rid of them, see you later, and making everything free. Yeah. And no one understood how you could live life without money. But what I was trying to explain to them, nothing costs money, all it costs is manpower. So we've got the biggest manpower in this country. Like, imagine the manpower, there's nothing we can't do. I know it costs them money, it costs us nothing, because we're working for each other and everything's for free. You know what I mean? We work for free. Like, we've got the man hours to do whatever we want. Yeah. We can feed ourselves, we can do everything. And I was telling the bankers, telling cheerio and waving them up the road. But no one got that bit, so I did rubbish that way. But like I say, as a protest group, we smashed it out the park. But the only sad thing is now fracking is actually raising its ugly head again, and people in Yorkshire better check out the planning, because they're planning to do it again, which is sad news. Well, sorry to be a bearer of bad news on such a great day in Manchester. But, talking about ambitions as well.
That escalated, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. You should have asked me the wrong question.
I'll mention it, but I won't go on about the politics thing. Hannah, how did you, this is a question I wanted to ask you about 20 minutes ago. How did you stay resilient within the failings of your overambitious plans in the US?
Yeah, so without sounding like I'm on a high performance podcast, because this is a bit of a blanket response, but genuinely micro habits are outside of work. So I kind of made a promise to myself, we'll call it, a few years back, that I was going to reclaim my mornings, and I just won't be available before kind of 8:30. So I always have an hour every single day, and I know not everyone can do that, but for me, I have an hour where I'm uncontactable, basically, to everyone. Nice. Work, friends, family. If you want to get me before 8:30, good luck. And that's really important. It just keeps me grounded, resets my brain, keeps me mentally sane, I'd say.
Keeps you going.
Yeah.
And what time do you switch off at night then?
So my alarm goes off about 20 to 6 in the morning, and then
20 to 6?
20 to 6,
And what time are you turning the phone off at night, though?
Probably, I'm always asleep before 10, I'd say.
I am as well. That's just we're getting old, I think.
All right.
I think there's something wrong with No, I'm not talking about myself personally. But if I go to bed at 10 o'clock often these days, you know what I mean?
What time do you go to bed?
Me?
Yeah.
No, 10 o'clock.
Oh, do you?
If I got
Yeah.
nothing
It's
on.
a good time.
If I got something on, it's always 10 in the morning. yeah. I go from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's funny talking about like launching political parties, like personal ambitions and so on. Do you think we're like as a society less ambitious now than we were maybe 10, 15 years ago?
Colin, I'll let you answer that, Hannah.
Yeah, I think we probably are. I think there's an ease in life now, right, where you probably don't have to, I don't know if that's grossly unfair actually, but you know, there's access to things very immediately. You probably don't have to use brain power as much as we did 10 years ago. So overall, I'd probably say, yeah, sorry to again bring the mood down.
Yeah.
Politics to no ambition, but...
Yeah. Well, AI's played a massive part in making us a lot lazier, because like a lot of people now just like turn to the AI, get them to do all the brainstorming for you, you know what I mean, and you come along and take the credit at the end of it, type of thing, you know, tweak it a little bit. So that's making us obviously a lot lazier, because you're not thinking things through. You've got some machines to think it through. Yeah. We're not having the discussions amongst ourselves like we should do, you know what I mean? And we're dependent on this technology. Who could not know at the end of the day? We've seen all the films out there. They're not our friends, really, are these? Like, you know, this AI technology. You know, it's a dangerous place to be. And I think that we should be looking at in the workplace, especially in, you know, media like this, what we're doing, and marketing. You know, how we reclaim it back and humanize, make sure we don't lose touch with what we are, which is human beings with emotions and feelings.
Yeah. I think it's changed, definitely, even if it's gone up or down.
Yeah. Well, that got deep, didn't it? Quick.
Sorry.
No worries. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe to our podcast if you want a bit more of that, or to listen back to this one. Thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you, Baz. Thank you, Gregor.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.